The Volquest 2-minute drill is brought to you by Craven Wings.
Welcome to the Craven Wings 2-minute drill on this Sunday. Scrimmage number 2 of fall camp wrapping up late this morning. Brent, defense. The overall theme of talking to people as to what unit won the day. Offense still made some plays, though.
Yeah, they did. I think the defense, first of all, handled tempo better today than they did in the first scrimmage. And I think up front, and you heard Josh Heupel talk about this at the press conference afterwards, they hit the run fits better. They did not get gashed as much. I think they were better in the defensive front, but I think their linebackers and everybody was dialed in a little bit better. I think they're probably a little bit more aggressive too. Probably had a few more things in terms of installs and what they could execute. It's kind of the Tim Banks way of going about assembling and getting ready. We saw this a year ago. I think if you go back and look, defense won scrimmage too last year after really struggling in that first scrimmage. So this is kind of the plan, I think, a little bit. And they had a good day. I think defense was better. The biggest thing that I keep hearing is that they have been a good tackling team in space to this point. We've seen
and he reiterated that.
And we've seen the emphasis they put on it on the practice field every day when we're out there. It's showing up when they get into 11-on-11 settings.
Brew McCoy got some praise today. Still no update on him. And the longer this thing drags out, the more leery you get of this whole situation. But he's still going through practice and making some plays.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a belief at Tennessee that he's going to be okay and everything's going to be taken care of. It's not a situation.
But don't you have to believe that, though?
Well, sure. I mean, but we've also been in this scenario where, I guess I've covered them long enough to know and seen enough kids that it looked like it was going to work out, then it didn't work out.
Sure.
So maybe I'm the glass half empty.
No, I think you just track record is track record.
Right, but I think the biggest thing from him athletically, take that out of the equation, let's assume he does get eligible, he's continuing to show how much he can help. He's getting in better shape, he's getting in game shape, and he's getting a better feel for this offense. You keep hearing his name show up a little, or keep hearing a little buzz around his name more and more as we progress through fall camp.
Jimmy Holiday, Walker Merrill also got praise from Coach Heupel.
Yeah, I think Walker Merrill's interesting. I really do, because he's a guy who's clearly locked in and wants to play. I think he's in a different place mentally right now, and athletically, I think he's shown the ability to play. I never pegged him to be an outside guy, but maybe he is going to be an outside guy who's in a rotation. I think he is doing a good job of continuing to try to earn this coaching staff's trust. Josh Heupel was not ready to talk about who all he trusted now, so he still had the next 4-day block or whatever that phrase was today that he used. But this is the next 4 days for those guys to finish above the line or below the line. Can you help or can you not help? And I think Walker Merrill's a guy who is trending on the upside of that line to help this team right now.
All the talk about secondary guys, Deshaun Rucker seems to have gotten some solid run today, some solid play, saying don't forget about me.
Yeah, and I think that's the message for those guys. Some of those guys is, hey, don't forget about me. I think Walker Merrill's playing that card a little bit. Here's Deshaun Rucker, because we're all talking about Christian Charles, we're all talking about Warren Burrell, we're all talking about Kamal Haddon and D. Williams, and all of a sudden here's Rucker making a few plays today. That's the beauty of where Tennessee is right now. It doesn't mean they're going to go out and dominate people or they're going to win 10 games. But a year ago, they had 3, right? You had 3 guys at most at corner that you felt like you could line up and play with. Now you're talking about 3, 4, 5 guys in a competition setting to try to get there. Much like you're seeing in other positions, linebacker being one of those where there's some competitiveness that simply was not there a year ago. The other place, Austin, there's competitiveness remains at left tackle.
Yep.
But we got a little clarity. They seem pretty comfortable riding with those 2 guys, right?
They do. Coach Heupel commented on the fact that he will likely keep Darnell Wright at right tackle. Those 2 guys have shown a lot of growth, and I'll continue to maintain what we've been saying. Both are going to play that opener, and then they'll start working and weeding them out and figuring out who can we trust or who do we trust the most at that spot heading into that Pittsburgh game.
Yep, I think it's a big, this next week will be big, but nobody's going to run and hide with that job at left tackle, and I think they're pretty firmly committed to Darnell Wright at right tackle. So that battle will wage on, and will continue on for a couple more weeks.
Last thing getting us out the door, it'll be interesting to see who makes it back this week from the injury bug. Jalen Wright, Kamal Haddon, what happens with Elijah at defensive tackle? Who makes their way back to the practice field in full form? I don't mean going through some individual stuff, but full go this week.
Yeah, I think that is a big question. Jalen Wright is a guy that you want to see and you want to get out there I don't think they want to take a chance on pushing that because that can be a long-term lingering deal if he re-aggravates it. So they want to be really careful there. I think the same with Elijah Simmons. I think Haddon's the guy who's probably itching a little bit to get back because of the names we just mentioned. He doesn't want to get left behind there. I think Jalen Wright's going to play because you need bodies, obviously, there. Elijah Simmons is going to play because you need bodies there. Haddon's the one who's probably looking at it going, nah, I may need to get back on the field as quick as I can.
Exactly. That's exactly how he should feel because it's easy to get passed by when you have quality people around you. And Tennessee, all across the board, for the most part, doesn't have a position where you just feel like, okay, they have nothing.
Right.
You know, and it was not that case a year ago. He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. And always remember,
when you're craving wings, it's got to be Craven Wings. Online at cravenwings.com.